Welcome back to another episode of Frankly Speaking Sports. I'm Jack. This is
MT.
And we got a lot to get into. We had to do an emergency podcast with all this bullshit going on. But before we get into it, I want to ask how you feeling today.
I feel pretty good.
That's good. Got a couple people under the weather,
Yeah,
so
I got my voice back.
you know it's good to see people thriving and surviving during this harsh time, especially with the weather change. I know that brings upon a lot of sickness and shit, but that's good, man. It's for myself. I'm on the right side of the grass today, so can't complain too much. But
I agree.
we're gonna get into it, man. First and foremost, I gotta pose a question: is gambling and or sports betting becoming a problem in sports? Not just the NBA, because obviously we're about to cover the shit that's going on with the NBA and the FBI arresting people and shit, popping up at niggas' doors at 6 a.m. But I see how it has the potential to spread throughout all the major sports. So that's why I posed the question, is it a problem in sports, not just basketball?
Well, I don't see how they figured making it legal was going to make it go away. When you start legalizing sports gambling, I'm thinking, what was the rationale for that?
Because the money was getting passed around regardless.
Regardless.
We was trying to figure out a way how we can, get a piece of it. That's like, we talked about the other day when we did the podcast, the fact that the NBA is receiving a 10% stake in all the profits from the different sports books. So they have interest in, the sports books being profitable and successful. And I personally felt like it was a conflict of interest when ESPN came out with their own sports betting app. And I said it when they launched it. I'm like, because you guys broadcast the games.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the potential to have influence on those games simply because you have access. And you also have a motive to want to influence the outcomes of those games simply because you have... It's a business at the end of the day.
Business.
And you are looking at profits versus payouts. You lose a bunch of fucking bro, I have picked a lot of my NFL picks, my upsets, simply based on looking at the lines and being like, okay, where Vegas gonna make their money this weekend?
Well, see, my thing is, and I've always kind of questioned the logic or the rationale behind this. Why do you have to submit injury reports to Las Vegas as a sporting entity? And when you don't submit your injury reports, you get fined.
Because they need to know that they need to know for the money purposes, bro. Money make the world go round.
And that's my point. I say, why this pretext?
But so, like, the Damon Jones situation.
Yeah.
Like, he simply was passing along injury information prior to the injury reports being turned in. And why that's so critical is because the lines move once the injury reports come in.
Mm-hmm.
If we see a LeBron James is not playing tonight, those lines are going to move. So the best way to maximize the profit is to, and we know LeBron not playing tonight, all your insider people in your little inner circle has the information. They bet when they bet in Milwaukee when Milwaukee is a plus 500 to win. I'm just making the odds up, but Milwaukee might be a plus 350 to win the game, and then LeBron is reported that he's not gonna play, and now they're a minus 1100, 1200. Like it basically. Vegas is saying it's damn near guaranteed that they're gonna win the game. So, but if you bet $10, for instance, once the line flips, $10 will get you $12 in profits. Like how the lines are squared away. So if you bet it when it's the plus 350, you could win $100. You know what I mean? So, but these guys aren't just betting a couple dollars.
No.
It's hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in. So everybody had a different role to play as far as like with the FBI probe. Chauncey Billups, obviously, Terry Rozier, we kind of knew, like even last year the NBA called it out, like when the shit happened, the sports best division in the NBA kind of, flagged it and was like, okay, well, there was an influx of bets that came in on the under. The nigga played 9 minutes and then checked himself out with an injury.
Well, riddle me this. How is that any different from Congress voting and passing bills and laws based on certain industries and then buying stock before they vote? Because they know they're going to vote for this certain entity to be restricted or whatever. How is that any different?
Well, one is legal. I mean, we're not talking about, legal or illegal or right or wrong, but one is simply legal.
Is it ethical, though?
Again, we're not talking about what's illegal or illegal. We're not even talking about what's right or wrong. We're just talking about what is. So the fact of the matter is, I mean, because being honest, the NBA is profiting off of the gambling and the sports betting, yet they're penalizing players for trying to do the same thing. But
That's my point.
in the event that Terry Rozier, bro, you just threw away your fucking career for $200,000 and you make $325,000 per game. It's shit like that you just have to put into context. I get you're trying to make sure your people eating too, but it's like, if I invite 10 people over and we're going to have a poker game and I'm the host, as long as I'm not receiving a kickback per hand, being the house, it's legal. The moment that I say, hey, I need $20 per hand per player, and then by the end of the night I made $2,000, that's where that's where the legality part of it. Again, we're not talking about the morality aspect of it. We're just talking about what's literally going on. But so yeah, we just talked about Terry Rozier, betting the unders and then faking the injuries. It's kind of the same thing that DeJounte Murray was doing.
But you know what, though? When you think about money and guys who make those crazy decisions and take these ridiculous risks, there's something underlying in there. Now, I'm wondering, did this guy have a gambling problem and a gambling debt? That's what I always wondered. I mean, what would make you so desperate so it's not to consider that I make this much money per game to take a chance on it?
For one, it's not like back in the day where you really use, because ain't nobody going through bookies and shit no more. Bro, it's not the 70s or the 80s. I just think it's easy money. It's quick money. And this is the aspect of it where the morality part of it kicks in. If you're an immoral person, the temptation of it is kind of difficult. If I could just simply go out and, let's just say, fucking week in practice, coach kind of lets you know, shit, we not gonna really use you too much in this game. You know what I mean? You'll get your minutes, but I'm about to get 10, 15 minutes. What you do in that 10, 15 minutes is what you do in that but you're not going to be a featured role. And so it's shit. If I could make $200,000 and tell you and then tell Mike and Cy, hey man, I'm only playing 10 minutes in this game, you make a couple dollars, you know what I mean? The temptation is there.
Definitely.
So you have guys who aren't going to risk their career or the bigger picture for that, couple dollars. And then, yeah, now I will give you, the shit is addictive. Motherfuckers just be having, I don't think it's gambling debts. I just think motherfuckers got gambling problems. So who couldn't use an extra $200,000? I've never met a billionaire that'd be like, yeah, no, I don't need no more money. Now, granted, I ain't met that many billionaires, but actually I ain't met none. But I'm saying, though, I have never heard one either publicly, privately, whatever, be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need no more money. You got it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I've been in the company of a few millionaires in my days, and to see how driven they are, and you're thinking, bro, you already got it. What are you doing? Because they still want more.
Of course, because enough is never enough.
Never
Even
enough.
when you have more than you could ever spend.
More than you know what to do with, you still want more.
You know,
And I don't know, is that a personality disorder or a competitiveness?
kids, they gonna blow the shit anyway. So eventually, y'all gonna be back in the unemployment line unless you create a system like the Rothschilds where everything goes back into the trust. You know, and it pays out, so it just continues to cycle. So
Well, I mean, Warren Buffett even said it. I'm not here to make my kids billionaires. I made my money; they got to make theirs.
I mean,
he ain't leaving them like in the food stamp line, but he's like.
That's a crazy philosophy to have, but I mean, I understand that you want to give them the drive to a certain extent.
Because if you don't give them that drive, and Warren Buffett is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you got somebody who's a billionaire like he is, you know your kids are already pacified already, and you might be worried about, are they just going to be just go spend crazy because they're not worried about getting their money, and will this money last?
Why the fuck wouldn't I?
You see what I'm saying? So how long will this money last generationally, though? Will their grandkids be starting all over again because they went out and bought 3 or 4 islands and they can't even fathom why they need this stuff, but because they can, they do.
That's society, bro.
That's society.
I mean, we live in a society that overindulges. So, but again, it goes back to the temptation of it all. If I could afford to buy a fucking island, why wouldn't I? Again, so like getting back to like these FBI probes and shit. Chauncey Billups, man, he's a coach. Just got in the Hall of Fame, but he has a different role that he's played in the shit because he was using his influence to attract high rolling, players to play in rigged poker games, and these motherfuckers was using X-ray glasses to read the cards, and it was alleged mob involvement.
Never knew that even existed.
Well, yeah, we've known it's existed because it's been used in Vegas quite some time, and then Vegas kind of caught on to it, so now it's kind of evolved when motherfuckers is using contacts. It's harder to detect the contacts and stuff, but I mean it's just it's crazy, bro. It like yeah.
He was making a pretty decent salary.
I mean, you're a coach.
He was a coach.
You're a coach.
And he had a couple of endorsements still. And I'm just thinking that what goes through a person's mind to make them want to risk all that for what we deem as peanuts? Is it the thrill? Is it the control factor? I mean, what is it? Because I don't know what it is. I don't know what kind of mentality you have to have. But then again, we do live in a culture of conspicuous consumption. And impulsive, our impulses tend toward the insane to me. We just do stuff because we can. Not because we should, but because we can. Consequences be damned until later. I got the money to get, buy my way out of it, so it's not really going to be a consequence.
I mean, money talks, man. Money talks.
Bullshit walks.
So, I mean, this is the era that we live in. But, so my whole thing is, it goes back to my original question that I posed. Is the shit a problem in sports? Because it seems like certain players get protected when the shit came. Like
Jordan.
Well, yeah, back in those days, we just gonna send you, send you away for a little bit till the heat cools off. But, Shohei Ohtani, you took a fall guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you're gonna tell me Ohtani didn't know what the fuck was going on when the debt payouts were hundreds of thousands of dollars that ranged up to $2 million payment all at once. It was like a $2.1 million payment because motherfuckers suck at fucking betting. And then you're betting soccer. Anybody who gambles and bet soccer knows how difficult gambling in soccer is. It's like fucking hockey. I've won a lot more bets in soccer than I have in hockey thanks to open fucking netters. But anyway, this ain't about me.
Well, as far as it being a problem, I think it's only a problem when it gets exposed.
The shit is hitting the fan.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not like he started doing this stuff last week or a month ago.
I've been calling out the issues on it though. Like you could read the tea leaves and see like, okay, yeah, I can see the potential of the issues just simply because, like I just previously stated, when you have ESPN rushing to get in because the money is available, you can't tell me you're not motivated by the money. So you can't tell me you wouldn't have the motive to try to, hey, we gonna let SGA get 40, free throws tonight, and we only gonna call 12 on the Grizzlies. You know what I mean? Like, it goes back, and this isn't new.
No.
Like, we've had old players that, once they retire in the league, kind of say fuck them, and they be like, their fuck you back is like, I'm gonna tell what the fuck was going on. And it'd be like, okay, well, you gotta win by 30 to win by 5. You know what I mean? So we've known this. Like, this isn't new. You know?
My most vivid recollection was when the Phoenix Suns played the Bulls in the finals back in the 90s. And in one game, the Suns shot like 35 more free throws than the Bulls did. And I'm like, they only won 2 games in that series, and both games they won. That was like an astronomically ridiculously number of disparity in the free throws.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't take a rocket science to know that the referees were putting their thumb on the scale a little bit in all those games. And nobody said anything about it until after the fact, but you almost could just go and, make a snack in the kitchen and come back and some guy's still shooting free throws. Because I'm like, damn.
So then what I start to think about is one of two things. How does this whole court case play out? Because these are just the 3 people that we know about, obviously, because their roles in the NBA. You have players, coaches, and, shit like that. Because Damon Jones was also a coach. But there were also like 50 people total in the indictment, because there's 30 people in the gambling probe with the rigged poker games by itself.
Well, my thing is, how much time are these guys going to be facing, and that's going to determine whether or not they flip or not. Because
motherfuckers are already flipping. Like, if you want to be 100% honest, Gilbert Arenas just got picked up not too long ago, and he came out and said, like, hey, if I got to spend more than an hour in jail, I'm telling. And I'm not connecting him to this situation. It's 2 completely different situations, and he really didn't have shit anyway, because he was just roped into the shit because he was like Airbnb or like renting the houses that shit was, like he had no actual, it was the owners and shit that was actually doing the shit.
Well, I concur. If me and you are doing some dirt, or if you're doing dirt and I know about it, and then you kind of suck me into it, if I get caught, you're caught.
Well, that's
just how I'm saying. I'm like,
the
look,
point
bro.
of snitching. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying is Damon Jones is he's already kind of spilled the beans to a certain extent. Like he's already kind of, been singing like a canary. They done already brought him into McDonald's and a couple packs of squares or a couple cigarettes.
I'm just saying, if I'm complicit, if we're complicit together, then I might take the fall. But if you're complicit and I got sucked into it, unbeknownst to me or unwillingly, I am not going down alone. That's just my philosophy. Because I'm not gonna say I'm a snitch per se.
Yeah, I would.
I would tell my homies all the time, don't do that junk around me, because if you do it around me, I'm telling.
That's pretty cut and dry. Like, so the big difference between, like, I don't really believe street rules apply in these situations.
Stakes too high.
And for one, you're not a street guy.
No.
So that's the difference. But like, if we're doing something together and you're snitching because you're trying to get out of whatever the consequence is, so you're going to tell on everybody else, that's snitching.
That's snitching.
Other than that, you're just,
material witness. As I look at it. But like I used to tell people all the time.
You could always shut the fuck up.
That's true. But I would tell people I'm not a snitch. But they better not ask me, though, because if they ask me and I know about it, and knowing that I know about it, and I think they know that I know about it, I am not going to take that rap alone. I'm like, nah, bro. I heard this and I heard that. So if you want to go check him out, you can do that. But
Well,
personally, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
that they ain't even gonna hold up in court. That's hearsay.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying a hearsay, but I'm saying
No, if you literally are saying I wasn't there, but this is what I think happened.
no.
That don't hold up
If I'm
in
saying
court.
this is what I heard somebody tell me,
Yeah, that's hearsay.
that's hearsay. But I'm saying if you want to go investigate that, you feel free to do so.
Yeah, I can't. You can't use that in
I
the
wouldn't,
court of law.
I wouldn't even think about the court of law. I'm thinking about as far as getting caught.
Like you're
somewhere.
not even a credible witness if you're telling them like, oh yeah, well I heard so and so told me such and such and such and such. If you want to go over there and check that out, yeah, bro, nigga, you want to tell.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
Cause you in that situation, you could definitely just be like, shit, I don't know. If there's no consequence that falls upon you, regardless of whether you give information or not, and you decide to give information.
Well, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
But if you catch me with my hand in a cookie jar and I'm like, look, I know what it looks like. I was putting this cookie back.
I don't know. You digging a hole deeper for yourself. We just gonna move on to some other shit because you just chat. You heard it here first. Just
I'm a snitch, man.
Don't do nothing around
Don't-
MT.
You break wind, hey, it was him.
Cause that shit is crazy. I mean, you could always, what they hear, but you know what they say about snitches.
I'm a saint. Or we get stitches.
Hey, some get snitches. I mean, some get stitches. Some come up missing.
I've known a few.
They still looking for Jimmy Hoffa.
I've known a few in my day that have come up missing.
It's been a long time, my nigga.
Oh, well, that Jimmy Hoffa is like well beyond worm food by now.
But I want to get into something that you tried to throw in there last podcast. I almost said last week, but we hitting y'all back twice in the same week. We back, and yeah. So you wanted to point out how people were saying Caleb Williams isn't a franchise quarterback. So one, who is saying that, or are you just making shit up?
No, that's just what I've been hearing on the internet.
Oh, and who is what reputable source has been saying?
I'm not quoting because I just go and I go on the internet and I look at ESPN, I look at the bottom lines, and I look at all these talking heads, and they're like, there's not a guy I would hitch my wagon to. Not at this point in his career. I ain't saying he may not develop because, see, my whole issue with all of these quarterbacks that they throw out to what I call throw to the wolves, is the majority of your great quarterbacks had time to sit back and observe the game. They weren't just tossed in from out of college, because Brett Favre was not. Aaron Rodgers was not. Most of the guys got 4 or 5 years to just sit back and observe the ongoings, to look at the speed of the game, the difference, how to read defenses and everything. And when they were thrust into the limelight, they were ready for it. That's the difference, I think. Only guy I can think of that didn't really have an extensive study was Tom Brady.
It's not too many people who learn the game by not playing the game.
But I mean,
I'm just saying.
Just film study, just learning to read schemes.
And that's all. That is fine and dandy. The fastest way and the best way you're gonna learn that shit.
Get out there and do it.
By playing the games. So I just want to point out something. This is Jared Goff's first 6 games versus Caleb Williams' first 6 games under Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff was 1-5. The team averaged 24.3 points per game. He had an 11-6 touchdown to interception ratio. He had 62% completion percentage. He had a 90.6 passer rating, and he took 12 sacks.
Okay.
Caleb Williams stats 6 games under Ben Johnson. 4-2 record, 25.3 points per game, 9-3 touchdown to interception ratio, 61.1 completion percentage, 92.9, we just call that 93, passer rating, and it's taken 11 sacks. The numbers are eerily similar. The one difference is he was one more with, Caleb. Caleb has a better record, through the first 6 games. So what that tells me is he's growing.
Mm-hmm.
Now for as many quarterbacks that you can name that take that pathway of sitting. There are a bunch of quarterbacks who came out and played from day one and were successful.
Mm-hmm.
You have the
Peyton Manning's.
well, he wasn't even successful really his rookie year. Like, he still holds the record for interceptions as a rookie.
Well, he got tossed to the wolves though, trial by fire. The
But
John Elways.
I don't know why you're going back that far. I'm thinking of modern court because we don't play the NFL isn't the same style of football as when the John Elways, even the Peyton Mannings.
RG3 wasn't that bad a quarterback, and
he was a pretty good quarterback.
He was just
got
injury
hurt.
prone, yeah. He got tossed to the wolves as well.
But I don't know if thrown to the wolves was necessarily like he got hurt because he didn't want to fucking slide. That's not me throwing you to the wolves.
But he also had a porous offensive line though, so
the offensive line was decent.
Just decent, but I mean,
not everybody is gonna have the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. To him and Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck got fucked up because his offensive line was just terrible, but he also wasn't like getting hurt because he was putting himself at risk. It's not throwing you to the wolves if you're putting yourself at risk.
That's true. Well, I think a classic example would be Michael Vick. He was a freakish athlete, and he very seldom slid either. But it's like.
But he also was the fastest motherfucker on the field.
That's what I'm saying. He was a freakish athlete.
It was, that's a bit of a. And then you have like the Cam Newtons, so you have a bunch of quarterbacks who had success.
Cam Newton, to me, is like a precursor to Josh Allen. He just run you over. I'm not going to try to avoid contact. I'm 6'5", 250. Hit me.
The only thing about the difference between him and Josh Allen, he had better accuracy.
He did, but he also didn't have as much protection as Josh Allen has nowadays as far as how you can hit a quarterback.
That's very true.
Because Cam got his clock cleaned a couple of times.
Yeah, especially enough to be in a Super Bowl and not want to jump on that ball, and people still be on his ass about it. But even if, so that's just the numbers through the first 6 games. Like, the numbers right now, and nope, Jared Goff has played one more game than, Caleb Williams has played. But just the NFC North by the numbers, just quarterbacks. Jared Goff has 1,631 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's throwing 233 yards a game. Solid season so far. Jordan Love is 1,438, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks, 239 a game. Caleb Williams is 1,351, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks, 225 a game. And I almost wanted to throw J.J. McCarthy in there, but he ain't really played. So Carson Wentz has the better stat line. He's 12-16, 6 touchdowns, 5 picks. So, like, they look like a solid group of quarterback play. So I don't get the shit just sound like hate to me. Like, just niggas is making up narratives, and then your old ass just instead of actually watching the shit or being man enough to come up with your own opinion, you just run with the narratives that's being thrown out there. I just think it's bullshit.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'll say it like this. I'm not going to hitch my wagon to Caleb Williams. I'm just not. I don't think they're going to be in the Super Bowl anytime soon.
Well, you're not a Bears fan, so I wouldn't ask you to hit your wagon to Caleb Williams.
There was a time when I was a Bears fan, when they had Walter Payton and company, but, that's neither here. Because I wasn't really all that much
I'm so sick of people throwing that shit out there. Well, you know how many times I've heard, oh, yeah, I rooted for the Bears for a little while when the Lions were just really bad, and I just wanted another team that they were good when they just like, bro, don't nobody.
I never really rooted.
Hey, guess what? I don't give a shit about the 85 Bears right now.
I'm just saying, I never really was a big.
That was 40 fucking years ago.
Exactly. I was never really a really big fan.
It's 2025. I wouldn't expect you to be.
I wouldn't have been picking the Bears over the Lions as far as watching, because the Lions, as bad as they were back in the day, they were always entertaining. They couldn't win for shit, but you got your money's worth though. They always had the highly skilled players.
Just like a Lions fan, I got to take the consolation prize.
I got used to that, but I mean, I still stuck with those consolation prizes, whatever. And I wasn't somebody that's, well, since they're not winning, I'm gonna go in there and jump on Chicago Bears instead. I never did that. I still won't do that. I'm just saying that I'm not a tried and true blue blood Lions fans, but I support my local teams though.
Man, that's fine and dandy. Fuck them niggas. I ain't got no loyalty for you.
Because I never could really get on.
I ain't never been a Lions fan.
I never could get on the Ohio State bandwagon because I'm from Michigan, and we're hated rivals.
And so my whole point is, you would have to have a reason to be an Ohio State fan. You wouldn't just wake up and be like, you know what, I think I like Ohio State. Like, unless you attended the school or
something like that.
You know what I mean? For me, the reason I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm not a true Ohio State fan. I just know it pisses U of M fans off. It pisses Michigan fans off when you tell them, oh, yeah, I fuck with Ohio State. You know, I get in the whole arguments. Like, we talk about college football, and they be like, well, who you think? I think Ohio State is going to repeat. Oh, man, fuck that. Huh? You from Michigan. Yeah, fuck
but, I mean, you get the same visceral reaction just by mentioning Michigan State, though.
No. See, because the reaction when you tell them you root for Michigan State, they kind of look at you like you little brother. It'd be like when you talking to a U of M fan and you be like, oh yeah, well I fuck with Michigan State. He'd be like, why would you do that? Like, why wouldn't you root for Michigan? Like, oh, it'll be okay. You might win next year. You know what? But when I tell you I root for Ohio State, then the blood get to boiling. Then it'd be like, oh man, why would you do that? You from Michigan? Did you from Ohio or something? It's like when I walk around in my Bears shit. Motherfuckers be like, oh, man, you must be from Chicago. Nah, I'm just a Bears fan. Like,
I mean, you can go back to the U. I never was a Miami fan. Everybody, oh, man, the U. I'd be like, man, fuck the U. And fuck you, too, for fucking the U, man. I never was a big fan of that. You know, back in Nebraska.
I mean, that's a different conference.
It is. But they were always on top, though, at one time.
Yeah, but it's still a different conference. Like, you're not competing. You're not going to be competing potentially against University of Miami for a Big Ten championship.
No, you're not. Unless you're going for the national stuff, you don't really see them.
Or unless you're in like a bowl game, but you got to get to that point to be at that point. So, I don't. But I've never been a Lions fan. I've never.
I mean, like the Blackbirds said back in the '70s, everybody loves a winner. And I'm just not that fickle a fan, because the only time I liked the Lakers back in the day was when they played the Celtics. I used to hate the Boston Celtics, and I'm still not a big fan of them right now. But I mean, if you played my team and
I hate you once you play my team.
See what I'm saying?
Especially if you beat them.
Exactly.
I still don't like the Colts to this day. I still don't like the Colts. Every time. Because my grandmother used to love when we used to go, take road trips down south. She used to, prefer riding through Indiana as opposed to going through Illinois. And we would always ride by fucking the stadium down in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil. And this is back when they had the posters of Peyton Manning and Dwight Freeney and, all those guys, Edgerrin James and fucking Marvin Harrison. I used to, every time we passed by that shit, my skin would itch. Just make my skin itch. I just fucking hate them. Just,
well, that's kind of like
dirty, dingy ass fucking.
When I would go to Chicago and see a freaking building-sized poster of Michael Jordan. I'm like, man, fuck Michael Jordan, man. I just didn't like him as a player personally, but I liked his game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I like Michael Jordan. I just don't like Jordan fans. I don't like Jordashians. Y'all be acting like some little hoes. I ain't even gonna lie.
I do think that the marketing game is so much more extensive now than it was back in the day. So when you got a person that's on top, they are literally ubiquitous. And it's like, dude.
Big word.
That's a big word. That, I get tired of the saturation. I'm like, dude, again? I almost feel like Janet Jackson almost. What have you done for me lately? Like, man, I hate this. I'm tired of this shit.
Man, don't tell nobody else that shit. Don't tell nobody else that shit.
But I mean, I don't like to see. That's why I never was a Cowboys fan. I'd be like, America's team, my ass.
Yeah, I don't know how people still calling them fucking American.
Now they made my skin itch. I was like, man, I hate these. That stupid star. I used to be like, man, you know what?
The crazy thing is they're such a love-hate team. You literally either love them or hate them. There is no in between. It don't be like, oh yeah, Dallas cool, that Dallas all right. It's either fuck the Cowboys or
It's
what
so
the fuck
funny.
you say about my team?
I'm down there in Texas down there, and Houston Texans, and they have no place in Texas.
They really only
They're like considered a JV squad almost.
you really only find Texans fans in Houston.
In Houston.
That's about it.
And I'm like,
Like
man.
everywhere else you go, it's about to start, baby.
And everybody be like, they're not the old Oilers though. They're just not the old Oilers. The old Bum Phillip and Billy White Shoes Johnson. They like, that's a big old shooter field, and they're not even getting their foot into the shoe yet, let alone filling it. So I mean, I'm down there in Texas, and I'm in Austin, and I'm in Houston, and I'm in Dallas, and you can see this is Cowboys country.
No, for sure.
And I'm like, oh, man, I'm so.
Or they fuck with college football heavier than they fuck with the Texans down there.
Holy crap, that orange shit down there is
Like,
everywhere.
They fuck. I mean, even beyond that, the fucking Texas Tech, A&M, UTEP.
Yeah,
Hell,
but
I know people that fuck with North Texas. like
I watched them the other night. They weren't that bad a game, actually. They actually won. But I'm looking at that burnt orange. It's everywhere in Texas. It's everywhere.
It's a nice color. You know, it's a nice color.
I once had a T-shirt because I like the color.
I fucks with the orange,
But I was
especially
like,
burnt orange. You know,
you know,
especially
when
when it's
Ricky
a
Williams
company
and
with
all
some
that.
navy blue with it. You know, just
I mean, it's a
me
unique
personally,
color.
You know,
It's a unique color because nobody else in college has that burnt orange. I've always liked burnt orange cars because I'm like,
I would not do that.
that's a bold statement. There.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I prefer to be in something bland. I don't want a super recognizable pull me over color.
Well, I saw a burnt orange Corvette, and I was like, that ain't half bad. That is interesting.
Yeah, you know, if you're in a Corvette, there's a good chance you're probably not trying to stop for police anyway.
No, that's definitely.
But anyway, man, before we get out of here, you got anything else you want to touch on that's not political?
Well, my Pistons don't look like they're going to be doing too much this year again. They may be.
I think they need to make another move.
Yeah, they're going to probably be just ahead of the middle of the pack, but not very impactful.
They need to make a move. They need to bring somebody in.
They need a surefire
to
scorer.
help Cade. And I like Cade, man. I you know, from watching him play, I like his game. He is a bona fide scorer, and he's still growing in his game. He just need help, man.
Everybody around him, they got they're physical, but they have no talent though.
Yeah.
That's what I see in that. They got, dude, get in the gym and learn to shoot. That's all I be saying. Just
I mean, you got a couple guys. I'm willing to see how it develops. You went out and got Duncan Robinson. You know, he's a nice three-point shooter. So it just has to gel, you know, and hopefully it can. But
they got the perfect coach for that, though. I like how Bickerstaff coaches. He's an intellectual, but he's also a player's coach, rather.
right.
I don't see him talking down to players like the Pat Riley used to do.
Pat Riley's a piece of shit, man.
Piece of shit, absolutely.
I don't fuck with Pat.
And it's like he's midway between, to me, Doug Collins, who was also a bit of a dictator, and Phil Jackson. That's why I like Bickerstaff.
Phil Jackson, if nothing else, he was a great manager of personality.
That's all he ever was.
Cause
He never had a scheme, because that was Tex Winter. Quiet as it kept, that triangle was not Phil Jackson. It was Tex Winter.
I mean, he definitely he definitely added his twang and made it work.
Yeah, but when you are giving people books to read, and then you expect them to commentary when they get done, so you know that they read them, that's a crazy coach right there.
I mean, what difference is that than giving somebody film to watch, and then quizzing them on the terminology of the film. I mean, shit, it's stopped, and it worked. The nigga won. So
well, like you said, he managed
won.
personalities.
Because
But he was a hippie though. Phil was a hippie though.
Because like, I'm not gonna let you discredit Phil and his success, because
I would never do that.
it worked.
I'm saying,
with
but
both
philosophically,
Kobe and Jordan.
he was closer to Bill Walton philosophically than anybody else I knew,
Like,
personality-wise.
that nigga got 11 rings managing fucking Jordan's personality, along with Rodman's personality, along with Pippen's jealousy, and then
That still shows to this day.
man,
I'm like, dude, get over it already.
I don't understand why there was so much hatred amongst the players back in those days, and then they're mad at guys now because they're friends. Like, y'all niggas are soft. We hated each other back in the day.
Not
Well,
only
that
that.
sounds like a fucking y'all problem.
A lot of the
And y'all wonder why. See, this is what's confusing. You don't want to network and don't want to be friends with the people, and then complain about the money that you're not making.
that's what it is. I think the money is the critical element. Guys like, man, I made $4 million a year, and I thought I was top of the whole league. These guys make that much in the game nowadays almost.
Yeah, and so now you got like role players that are making, NFL top tier money. But what I'm saying is they're all coming together, and they're putting together business ventures, and they're doing stuff where they're making money off the court that is growing their net worth off the court. So it don't matter what the fuck I do on the court, I'm still making money. You don't have these business opportunities because you were so me, what I'm doing and what I got going on.
Well, a couple
And
of
it was
guys did that, though, believe it or not.
And it's not even a couple guys versus, do you have the entire league that's...
But you would have thought that those guys would have been the blueprint, because Magic, Isaiah, Dominique, and Mark Aguirre were all in business together, and they all made like millions. And you would have thought that the other people would have said, "Hey, wait a minute, they pull resources." And
Yeah, but they didn't have the kind of resources that they had to pull.
they did.
There were businesses that these guys created that didn't have anything to do with basketball.
That's true.
But then you get guys like Pippen that didn't get the opportunity to make as much money as a Michael Jordan, and instead of saying like, hey, let's come together and pull some money together and do something like this, he gets bitter and wants to start talking shit behind his back, and that's not what that's not going.
Do you know where
work,
most of those guys
Jordan.
came from, though? The South.
What does that have to do with it?
I mean, there's a culture down south where you kind of don't really cooperate with other black people. That's been my experience from people I know from down south. They would be more apt to shit on you if you were black than they would if you were white. So that was my experience going back to the military and beyond. Southern black people have still that little slave mentality a little bit more embedded than northern blacks. Because all the ones that I mentioned that were quiet, that were like conglomerates, were all from up north, except for Charles Barkley. Because the rest of them were from up here, and they understood business. Like, you know what, we ain't gonna be hooping forever.
Yeah, and even Charles had to get taught that.
He had to get taught that. Shaq had to get taught that. But Magic, to me, had what should have been the blueprint for everybody to follow. Because Magic never upset the apple cart.
Yeah,
He was user-friendly.
The gatekeeping that was going on during that time was just ridiculous. And then to call our generation soft because we're networking, like, it don't make no sense.
Well, that's not what I call them. I call them soft because they play, but that's just
everybody
me,
getting
though.
money. But hey, whatever.
I mean, the business aspect of the NBA, the NFL, MLB, whatever, is a lot more front and center now than it was in the old days. Most of the guys, even though they had college education, because a lot of guys
It's a lot
didn't
more
come
money
up.
into it.
It's a lot more
It's a
money.
lot more money. Like
A lot more opportunities.
You talking billions with a B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but a lot of guys understand that they're not gonna make that kind of capital to get in on that. You know, you don't have that many LeBrons where it's like, well, I'm trying to own a sports team after I'm done. You know, most guys are trying to own a few McDonald's franchises, or utilize the money that they got, and but it also comes with financial literacy and
That's the part.
making the proper purchases and being smart with your money. So I mean, it makes a big difference. And
Well, you got to consider that most of the guys coming up from back in the day were only about 2 generations removed from Jim Crow.
boy, you are making this shit dark as fuck today.
But I have to, because
You don't.
that mentality persisted back in the day.
You don't. You
we've
just,
come out of it, as a people. We've come a long ways as a people.
As much as I keep trying to pull it back, this nigga, well,
I'm not
these
gonna let you
slave
do it.
niggas, these plantation niggas, boy.
I mean, to me, it's like comparing Barack Obama with Jesse Jackson.
All right, man, we finna get the fuck out of here, bro. You just, yeah, man.
Keep hope alive.
You're not
Yes, we
taking the
can.
hints. You're not taking the hints. You're just putting the breadcrumbs down, and you just ignoring the fuck out of them, bro. I don't know what's going on. We not politicking today.
But I mean,
like
it's the
that.
same mindset, though.
Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. I trust me. I understand where you're coming from, but we here to entertain.
I think conflict is always entertaining, though.
No, yeah, no, yeah, no. But man, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. It helps us grow on the algorithm. So this nigga piss all the Republicans and all the white people off. I don't know what the fuck he be talking about half of the time. I understand. I actually overstand, but
Okay.
it's a time and a place for shit. Like and subscribe, bro. I'm Jack. This is MT, man. We frankly speaking. Bear down, bro.
Deuces.